But I like wearing my shoes. I bought these in like 2019, I think.
Yeah, but bro, like,
but these are good for
yeah, but like for me personally, man, like I can't do that to my shoes.
Yeah, but like, what? I get to wear them though. That's all that matters.
But
like
in the fashion industry, you can't, like, dude.
That's the difference.
You'll get crucified. For that type of stuff, man. But
I'm not in the fashion industry. That's what.
But I mean, I beat up some of my shoes because I feel like they're meant to be worn. But at the same time, like
the good ones.
The good ones. Ugh.
Yeah.
It'd be like me taking Travis Scott's and being like, yeah, I'm gonna go jump in a thing of mud.
Yeah, but see, like but these ones for me, I don't know what it was. These were the ones that I always wanted when I was younger, and like the blue UNC ones. You know what I'm saying? So once they came out with the Off-White, I was like, bro, I'm just gonna get those, and like those are gonna be my ones. I don't give a fuck. I'm wearing them. Like it is what it is. So
well, I know I have a pair of Off-Whites that I want. I want those, but I want the what are they, like the green ones that they just came out with.
Yeah,
I've been waiting for those to come out, and when they came out, I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy them, and then I tried to get them. Didn't get them, and now they're like $3,000, and I'm like, bro, I cannot do that. Yeah.
I felt crazy. I bought these when they were like aftermarket at like $1,300, and now they're like $3,000 or something. But I felt like it was still like crazy that I was buying that much, spending that much for shoes.
The new black Travis Scott just came out. I was like, oh, those are clean. Like, you know, they look simple, and like now they're probably going for like $1,000.
Travis Scott happens like that too. Like, I want to get a pair of Off-White Air Maxes. Jonah and I have been talking about that. I want to get those.
These are my first pair of Air Maxes. Actually, honestly,
I was gonna ask you which ones those are. Those are fucking fresh.
They're the concept ones, nice. And yeah, dude. Honestly, like, I just bought them on a whim.
I like it.
Yeah, but they go pretty well with most things. I just like the random colors, so I could like literally wear almost anything with this. So. But
that's going to be one of my questions. All right, maybe we should start this episode. Thank you for everybody for being here. If you guys are watching on YouTube, if you guys are listening on podcasts, if you guys are subscribers, appreciate you guys. But I got a special guest here on the purple couch, Hunter Warr. Thank you for being with me. Appreciate you.
Yep, thank you.
So are you a Baton Rouge native? Are you?
So I was actually born in Bossier City.
Okay.
My parents got divorced when I was like, when I was not even born yet. And then my mom had me and met my stepdad, and then we moved to Baton Rouge.
Okay, nice.
So I've been here probably for about 22 years.
Nice. Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 24.
24.
Yeah.
So you've been here pretty much your whole life. Bossier City, what is that? Is that Shreveport?
Yeah, Shreveport.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. I'm from New Jersey, so I'm like I still like putting those pieces together and stuff like that. But yeah, that's cool. All right. So you're a Baton Rouge kid. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Episcopal High School. Sadly.
Nice. Why is that sadly?
Just the people you deal with there, man. I never fit in. So
really,
yeah,
okay.
I was never one of those kids.
Yeah, that's funny. I went to a private school in New Jersey, and I felt like if it wasn't for sports, I didn't fit in. Like it was just like people give me credit, you know. They're like, "I will give them a pass," but I didn't fit in with the people I went to high school with at all.
Bro, I was even a state champion, and people just didn't even People just didn't care for me. Yeah, so it was just whatever. I guess my going to those private schools, people have a lot of money, all that, and people grow up differently. And not that my parents didn't have money. I think it's just more of my parents didn't raise me like I had money.
Yes.
So it was just a lot
I think the same way. I went to a very like well-off high school, affluent, and I lived like 20 minutes away from where I went to high school. So all those kids there, everybody was rich and just had a different lifestyle than me. It was like I went there for sports and everything, and it was like it just made sense. So
dude, some people roll up in like the $70,000 Range Rover as their first car, and I'm like, I've got a 2002 Dodge Dakota that's a 5-speed manual. I'm pretty sure that's pretty. That's
felt good about that, right? Like I was like, I had a fucking 1997 GMC Envoy, and I was like, dude, this thing's sick. But everybody's got BMWs and Benzes and shit, and I'm like, fuck.
I was just happy my car got me from one place to the other.
That's what I'm saying, A to B, baby. I was like, I had leather seats, and my shit had seat warmers. I was pumped. Like, so yeah, it's funny though, but it's funny how you have come from different classes and stuff and make it work.
You were better off than me. I had the crank windows.
Oh, that's nice. No, my second car actually had crank windows. Like I had an old school. The Envoy had crank windows. It did. It had crank windows. I thought it was the Escalade, but it wasn't the Escalade. Yeah. I bought a used Escalade when I was playing ball.
That's crazy.
All right, so I'm excited about this conversation, and I don't want to say like I was excited that you didn't fit in with people in high school, but I think it kind of talks about why you're probably successful today. So if you guys are listening, Hunter is do you consider yourself a model, influencer? Like what?
I'm probably just a model.
Just a model. Okay, cool. But you have a big following and stuff like that. So that's why I guess from an outsider looking in, it's like you have a little bit of that influencer world. But how would you describe what you do for a living and like how you've built your career?
Well, I think when you start off doing this, like honestly, I actually wasn't. Modeling was never anything in my radar. You know, your parents are kind of like, oh, you could be a model. And they think like it's kind of like that funny
Parents love you, and you're like, I know, Mom.
Yeah,
I'm a good looking kid. But.
You're like, yeah, thanks, Mom. But at the same time, no, I honestly think I actually got found. I used to be a stripper.
Really?
Yeah. So I was actually a male stripper for a long time.
What? This is fucking phenomenal. That's incredible.
So I stripped. My ex-girlfriend got me into stripping. She was a stripper before me, and she convinced me to go strip in New Orleans.
What?
So I tried out one Sunday while her and her friends were there, got a contract, and then stripped for about 2 years before COVID.
Dude, that's incredible.
And then COVID happened. The stripping kind of went away because, well, COVID.
Yeah.
So when COVID was over, I went back. I actually got a 40-hour week job. I was cutting down trees at a tree service here in Baton Rouge.
Wow.
And then I was stripping like once a week in Nashville.
Oh, so you would fly to Nashville?
I would drive to Nashville.
Drive to Nashville.
8 hours.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. So I was stripping in Nashville, and then I got hired one day actually here to go strip at Splash, which is obviously the gay club here in Baton Rouge, and love them to death. Been working for them for 4+ years too.
So people strip there? Are they like dancers, like in a club where the people are dancing up top?
Well, it's not like the go-go dancers. They just hired me for like 1 or 2 songs. They paid me a little bit of money, and they were just like, we want to have like a little something different. So I did it.
That's dope.
The second time I did it, I think there was a photographer there and asked me if like, it looked like you want to do something more with your life, and I was like, I mean. Duh. I mean, like,
can't be stripping forever.
Yeah, I can't do this forever. So he tried to convince me to go do a photo shoot with him, and I blew him off for like the longest time.
Yeah.
And then finally I was like, you know what? I can do this. Like, let's just do this for fun. Like, if I get some cool pictures, like, I'm not gonna stress about it.
Right.
Like, he ended up sending my pictures to actually an agent that he knew in LA. Found out later that the agent in LA actually wasn't going to sign me.
Yeah.
Didn't really care for how I looked.
Yeah.
Until one of his other models dropped the job. And then the agent was like, submitted my picture to these people, and the people like fell in love with me.
Holy shit.
So he's like,
I guess I was wrong.
He's like, oh, I got to sign the kid now.
Yeah.
So that's how that happened.
That's cool. That was your first agency thing? Like where an agency like reached out to you? Yeah. Dude, I love that organic story. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So that was last September. So I've only been doing this for a year.
Nice.
So I got found basically being a stripper. So
dude, that origin story is fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's a little wild.
No, it's good though. But that, like, to me, what my podcast is, like, it's sports, performance, business, right? And so I think you fall under business, performance, all that, right? Because we're going to talk about how your body, your aesthetics, all are a big part of your job and stuff like that. But I think to create business, like where you're your own economy basically, and to do it that way is fucking incredible.
Well, yeah, I think before I was modeling, I was shipping just to pay for school.
Right, that's
like,
what I mean.
Literally was just trying to survive.
Yeah, survive. That's but I think sometimes like the best things, like organic things that you're gonna do in life, come from those moments, right? Like you're grinding, and it's like I figured something out somehow.
Well, what's crazy is me and my ex broke up right before I got found as like a model, and then I started modeling, and like now it feels a little odd because like now it's just kind of like she's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing, and it's kind of like.
Are you guys still friends?
I mean, we were friends for like the longest, but I think now we both just decided that it's probably best that we just separate and not be involved too much, just because it probably I think it hurts more than anything, because you're just like trying to still make it work, but there's wounds, and it's like you guys are still living your own lives and doing your thing. Exactly. Yeah. But the whole modeling thing, yeah, dude, to be thrown in like that. I had hair. Oh, that was crazy too. So I actually had like full head of hair when I had
really
when I went to my first modeling gig. Yeah, I did something with Jeffree Star. That was my first job.
Yeah, no, who's that? I know
he's
that
like
name.
a makeup artist.
Yes,
he's like
I know that
really
name.
Controversial.
Yeah.
So they like spiked up my hair and like I mean they put about like 2 cans of spray
Oh my god,
hairspray in my head.
We're gonna have to put that in like the episode, or like some of the pictures or whatever, if you ever have any.
I got some. I got a video of it too. It's
that's
crazy.
So sick.
So they did that, and then the next day, Major takes me to a barber and goes, shave him.
No.
Yeah, just
and,
cut.
And the agent was like, "This is what we have to do."
Yeah, and just cut off all my hair.
So you've been buzzed since then?
Since, yeah. Just literally, they didn't even ask. It was just like, yeah, cut his hair.
And so has that been good for you in your career going forward?
Yeah, I think it just gives me that like more like a European vibe.
Yeah.
A little edgier, but to definitely just go from having like this hair I had grown out to just all of a sudden just being like, is like,
dude, I think that's the mental health side of things that people don't talk about, right? Is like everybody thinks the model world is great and all these different things. not that maybe you liked it, maybe you didn't, but like it didn't matter. Like for the business, like you had this look that you needed to like kind of adopt and everything.
You have to be able to like change. Like honestly, I know like when you sign a contract with a modeling agency, you have to ask them to like change your look.
Really? Yeah. So if you want to like change your hair color or something?
Yeah, because you have to like, I mean, luckily with a shaved head, you can change. I mean, for me, I can dye my hair, and then if they need me to do something, I can just buzz my hair or bleach it out. Right. It's not going to be like the end of the world.
Right.
But for the most part, yeah. If you want to do anything with your body, you have to ask.
That's so crazy. And so how many agencies, so how does this work, right? I know I've seen people like, I know you're signed or have a couple deals with a couple agencies and you've had some success, been on some magazine covers and things like that, right? But aren't you just said something about being in Europe too, right?
Yeah, so I've signed with 3 agencies now. I've got one in LA, that's my mother agent. They're called Pretty Men Management. I've got one in London, signed with them. They're called SupaModel Management. And then I've got one in New York called Soul
nice.
Artist Management. Pretty signed me first. That's why they're my mother agent. Supa signed me after Pretty. Went to London for 3 months and then stayed there for 3 months.
Holy
which was
shit.
Insane, but
good insane.
I mean, it was kind of both. I mean, you're there alone. You don't know anyone.
Right.
You're having to figure out a culture kind of by yourself. Not that London's like an extreme different, but you're still in a completely different place. You don't know these people. The food's different.
Yep.
You're
lifestyle, everything.
Lifestyle, you're trying to survive.
Yep.
So made some friends, but definitely was probably one of the hardest 3 months of my life.
Damn.
Just because you're alone.
Yeah. I think people don't take that into consideration, right? I played baseball my whole life, and it's like you're gone for 7 or 8 months out of the year, and like, oh, it's great, you're going to all these different cities, but it's a fucking lonely lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
It's really actually it's really fucking hard just because you're like, I'm also 6 hours ahead of everyone. So like calling people, I'm trying to call people at like 2 a.m. in the morning so I can talk to people.
Yeah.
And then you're going to do jobs, or you know, most of the time I was there, I only did like 2 or 3 jobs while I was there for 3 months, but that's because I was not like just like in the infancy of my modeling career.
Gotcha.
So I mean, I started modeling in September. I went to London in January.
Oh wow! Like so, right into the fire.
Yeah, right into the fire. Got thrown in, and when you get thrown in like that, you just don't really realize like the things.
What you're about to get into.
What you're about to get into, or the things you're gonna have to deal with, and no one really tells you either. I showed up to London, walked in my agency. They looked at me and they were like, "Yeah, you're like,
this isn't gonna work.
This style of yours is not gonna work."
How do you do, like, I feel like your confidence has got to be at like a sky high, right? Like I'm going to London, I just signed with this agency, and then they walk in, they're like, yeah, that ain't shit. Like,
yeah, they literally were like, yeah, they're like, we're gonna buy you clothes. So they just bought me a whole bunch of clothes, and then they were like, this is what you're gonna wear.
And this is now your style while you're in London.
This is now your style while you're in London.
Dude, people don't understand that. So like that's crazy. That's got to be a little bit of a mind fuck for you.
Well, it was just like, it was kind of a mind fuck, but it was also the situation of just like, how do you like, you think you're like, oh cool, I just got signed. Like you said, I just got signed. Like I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna do all this work. And you show up, and the first thing they look at you is like, yeah, your style sucks.
Yeah. like isn't my style what got me here, motherfuckers?
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay. And then my agent there, and love them. Don't get me wrong. I love my agency in London, so please don't come after me. He looked at me, and my love, Charlie, looked at me and goes, you need to lose some weight in your legs.
Oh my God.
And I mean, like, I don't know how you like take that without like being like, okay,
all right.
So does that mean I'm fat? Like, I'm like,
you just fat shame me a little bit?
Yeah. But like, I mean, obviously he wasn't, but he's just being honest because in the European culture, it's the business and European culture, like everyone's skinny.
Yeah.
Like the dudes I talk to, bro, like I feel like I could break them over my leg. I could literally just, So it's
interesting.
It's insane. Like I've had some really crazy stories of things that have been told to me and things that have been said to my friends. Yeah. And you don't really realize, dude, they still say stuff to us that's like not okay. That's not mentally or like physically. Like you I don't know how you take it sometimes.
Yeah.
In London, I was there for 3 months. I got to work for like Rolling Stones. Was in a magazine shoot for them. That was really cool.
That's badass.
Did a couple like denim stuff. Did some little brand stuff. Was on the cover of another magazine called Man About Town. I'm wearing like a ski mask.
That's sick. In London? Like, so it's a magazine in London?
Yeah. So it's like, it's like a whole thing. And I had this like ski mask on and like, it was really cool. That was a fun time, but I didn't do a lot of work in London. So that's really stressed me out as well. Cause the agency's paying me, paying for my living to be there. they're not giving me money to eat. They're paying for my rent. So I have to pay them back.
Yeah.
So I went to do a job after I left London. I left London for like a week and got called back.
Like you were coming back here?
Like I literally showed back home, got called back to go do a job in Milan. Went to go shoot for Armani Exchange. Shot for them. It was like $14,000 job, and I maybe saw half of that.
Because, like, you mean you profited only half of it because you had to pay them back and travel and all that
everything.
shit? Yeah, exactly.
So they took,
and then there's taxes on top of that. I'm sure
they take their 25% from you, and then whatever I owed them, they took.
Oh my
and
God.
then I think I ended up getting like $6,900 out of the $14K.
Oh my God.
And then you also have to take into consideration the euros to pounds and pounds to US money.
Oh my God.
So like when the euros came to pounds, they didn't know it only being like 11,000 pounds, and then because like the currency exchange.
Yeah.
And then when they took their money from that, and then ended up getting like 6,000 pounds, and when they switched it over to me, I ended up getting like $6,900 in US. It was tough. It was like, wow, I'm gonna make all this money to not make all this money. It was such a hard thing to see.
Dude, that's got to be tough. I was just gonna ask too how you get the gigs in London. So the company, I mean the agency is like shooting you out like as many, like they only chose for you to do 3, or is like on you to go like network with companies and stuff like that and shoot.
So they submit you for things. So like when you're most agencies, how they work is when you go to do when they have a brand that reaches out to them, they'll send a package out.
Gotcha.
The brand will be like, this is what we're looking for.
Gotcha.
And then the agencies will pull together models that they think fit that image.
Gotcha.
And they send them out. But that's not the only agency that brand hit up.
Right. So
I'm going up against other, I'm going up with kids and the other guys in my own agencies.
Right.
But I'm also going up against the other guys and 10 other agencies.
Oh my God.
For you to get selected for a job is like the biggest deal.
Yeah.
Because like any job, because you're fighting all these other guys for this one spot, or these maybe 2 or 3 spots. So like it's this constant, like you are battling. And that means I'm also going up against some of the top models in the world.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like you're literally going against the best people, and the thing that I would imagine, again, I don't know, but it's all like in this world, what I've learned in business is it's about who you know, right? So if a certain agency has a great relationship with a certain brand, like they're more likely maybe going to pick their models and things like that, right?
Right. So like I work for Macy's and Gap a lot, but it's because they have a good relationship with my agency. Yep. The brands happen to like me a lot too. Right. That helps. Yes. Your personality helps a lot. That drives your career.
Nice. Is that like personality on set when people are taking pictures, how you interact with everybody and that kind of stuff?
I think that, and just also how you just like look, personify yourself. I think it's always a matter of just being able to, you always have to keep be your best self. Yep. I mean, I'm never going to change for anyone. So you're either going to like me or you're not. Yeah. If you don't like me, okay, you're lost to me. I'm not a dick. I'm not a cocky asshole. Right. I feel very blessed to have the jobs I've had and be able to do the things I'm able to do. But at the same time, like, if you don't fucking like me, cool.
You probably had to learn that. Like, you know what I'm saying? In your industry, I think that's what I want to talk about next is like, you're 24 years old. And at 24 years old, I wish I had that mindset, or I at least wish like I could absorb that better. When I was playing baseball, I actually really cared what everybody, if they liked me, because like I felt like they were evaluating me and I needed to impress people to go to the next level and things like that. So talk to me about how is it just over time, like you learned this mindset and stuff, but it's got to be hard, right?
Well, 95% of my job is rejection.
I love that. See, baseball is like 70%. We thought that's a lot. So like where you fail 70% of the time, 95%, that's a higher percentage.
I don't.
You gotta
like
learn.
Most of the jobs like I get put on option for, I don't get.
Yeah, you have to learn.
You have to learn to be like okay with the fact you're not going to get a job.
You're getting rejected.
And you have to be okay with the fact that you're not going to know why.
Yeah.
Like they literally won't tell you why you fucking got a job or why you didn't fucking get a job. Like I literally would be like, oh, you're on option. Like I was on option for Tiffany & Co. And it was like an urgent thing. They wanted me. And I got a phone call a day later and they're like, oh yeah, they dropped you. And I was like, why'd they drop me? They just did.
We don't have an answer.
Okay. Like,
and you're just like, all right, on the next, and like that's, you just have to learn how to be okay with that.
Yeah, you spend your 5 minutes on like, cool, just got dropped for a nice job. I mean, the Tiffany & Co. job was $5K a day. Yeah. Like, and like they tell you the numbers too. Like your agencies would be like, oh yeah, if you get this job, it's like this much, and hopefully you get the job. And then if you don't get it, you're like, cool, there goes that money.
I was gonna fuck myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna go fuck myself. Thanks. Yeah. But like also like it's the same thing. I did Fashion Week, man. Like you walk into a
Fashion.
You walk into like a fashion show, like you go into a casting, that's what they're called. You go in, you're dressed nice, but you walk in and there's 50 other models trying to get the same job that you're trying to get.
Yeah.
And they're only going to pick 50 of you out of the 300 they meet that day. Or the 400 or 1,000. I mean, it just depends on how many they select. You walk in, man, and they watch you walk once or twice.
Yeah. And then
they take a couple pictures of you and then they send you off. And then you just find out whether or not you got a job a couple days later.
That's nuts.
And like you have to go in just being like, you have to go in knowing that like, confidence things. You're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna get this job. And if you don't get the job, you have to be like,
cool, I'm gonna try to get the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah.
Bro, so that's crazy because like I'm trying to like make parallels in my world to like try to like have empathy and like understand how you felt in those situations, because like to me that feels like a showcase in baseball. When I was 17, it was like you'd go to these draft workouts and it would be like you throw 5 pitches, they get your velo, they see your shit, and it's like, all right, next guy on the mound, right? I'm sure it was similar in football. You line up, you do a few drills, you do like combine, right? So it's like, but that's your life every fucking day. So imagine doing the combine every day to eat, like almost, you know what I'm saying? Those guys do it to get a job, and then most of them are gonna get their job, right? Like you're literally like, all right, cool, and it doesn't work, I gotta do it again next week, gotta do it again next week, gotta do it next day, and whatever.
Like Fashion Week, I had to do it like 3 or 4 times a day.
That's nuts.
I had to go like walk for this one brand, get done there, go to the next.
Right.
And like it's not, and then like you're trying
you gotta be numb to that shit.
Oh, you like I tell people all the time, I've become such a heartless person, and like it's not because I want to be, it's because like it's the job makes you heartless. Yeah. It's because you just like you turn into someone that like you have to be like okay with the fact that like you're gonna get rejected. So like, dude, even nowadays, if I walk up to someone, I'm like, I say I walk up to her like a girl, and I'm like, yo, like how you doing? And they reject me. I'm like, cool, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Walk away.
You're like, this ain't nothing from me.
Yeah. That's like,
you don't even know, baby.
I just had Givenchy reject me, so you know what?
You ain't nothing, yeah. I love that. So that's a great perspective.
Yeah, good job. Cool.
Yeah, great, whatever. On to the next. Go right to her friend right next to her.
Like, honestly, I think that's like the funniest thing. You just like I actually was on a option for Givenchy. Actually, they wanted me to come, and I couldn't get my passport set up in time.
Oh my god!
To go do a campaign for Givenchy next to Kendall Jenner.
What?
Yeah, they dropped me because
the
passport fucked me. I couldn't get it back. I couldn't get it in time. We were like trying to rush the U.S. people. We were like, the agency was calling. I was calling. Like we had people calling, and they couldn't get it into me in time. So Givenchy was like, we'll just use someone else. And I was gonna be like standing next to Kendall, and like not that it's gonna be like it's just been cool. Like it'd have been one of those moments.
100%. And you just I don't know, like you just never know how that shit goes when you meet somebody, and like
exactly.
Oh my god, that's crazy. But that immediately makes me think right away. I know you said you have an ex, but I don't know if you're dating anybody now. But I'd imagine, again, baseball world, right? I never had a wife while I was playing. I struggled to have girlfriends and stuff because you're on the road. They don't understand your lifestyle. We talked about a little bit about loneliness and like being on the, being away from family, friends, all that stuff. How hard is it to build a relationship with somebody and then you're gonna be half naked doing shoots? You're around the best looking people in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit's gotta be hard.
First off, model girls, y'all are very interesting humans. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. Secondly, I think it's actually insanely hard. I literally don't have time for someone to not like want, like if I'm gonna like, let me put it this way. If I'm going to like try to build something with you, I'm very upfront and honest. Like, if I take a girl on a date, or if I take anyone on a date, let me just put it that way. If I take anyone on a date, I will be very upfront and honest about the fact of like, hey, this is my life. I need you to understand this is my life. I need you to realize that I'm not here a lot. Right. And I can't promise you that if we make plans, then I'm going to make those plans.
Right.
I can't promise that if we're going to go on vacation or we have a vacation set up that I'm not going to have to leave in the middle of it.
Right.
Just because that's how my job works. I don't get to decide when I want to work and when I don't want to work. Ooh. I mean, I can ask my agency for a couple of days off, but they're still going to be trying to get me jobs during those couple of days off.
Right.
And you have to be, especially if you want to continue to build your name and build your brand as a person, you have to be okay with that. The first couple of years of modeling are some of the hardest years just because, I mean, like I tell people all the time, it's the most luxurious broke lifestyle you will ever live.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things you have to be mentally okay with the fact that like you could set up a vacation or go set up those concert tickets you've been wanting to go see like Elton John for like the longest time. and the day before that concert, they call you and like, hey, you have a job in Miami. We need you to go.
Yeah.
It's going to pay you this much. Have fun. Cool. I just missed out on Elton John's last tour.
Right.
I mean, and it's not like I'm complaining. Obviously, I got a job, which is great.
No, but it's that, like, most people's jobs are not like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, you know, I think the work-life balance is what you're talking about is really hard. The unpredictability of like, I might be working, I might not be working. And like the competitive nature of it is you can't turn it down. It's opportunity cost, right? Like if you turn down that job, somebody else is going to fucking take it and you never know where that takes that person, right?
Right. And like, that's the one thing I want people to understand. Like I think, and I try to, the people that have stayed by my side through it, I mean, I love everyone that's stayed by my side through it, and especially my family. But it's been very difficult just to be okay with the fact that like I could be here one day and not be here for another. And when I say this, like I'll be here one day and then I won't be back here for 2 months.
Right.
That's wild. Like,
and to know that you don't know how long it could be. See, for me, it would be like I come home for 3 months and then it's like, all right, I know I'm going to be gone for 7 or 8 months. Like my nieces and nephews, my brothers and sisters, my mom and dad can plan for that, right? What's hard for you is like, it might be a 3-month gig. It might be a 2-week gig, right? Like,
well, yeah. And like, or I like went to New York on my own accord for the last 2 months because my agency was like, we'd really like it if you were here, which is them being like and don't get me wrong, my New York agency, love them to death. They're the greatest people. But they, you know, for you to build your career, you have to sometimes just like jump in. Yeah. And so I went to New York for 2 or 3 months and literally just couch hopped for 2 or 3 months and stayed there so we could work more and build my name more. And I chose to do that because this whole job, you either have to jump in, you have to go in all the way, or you're gonna fade out. Yep. And I don't want to fade out. So building a relationship is probably one of the most difficult things in this industry that you're gonna do because dude, people don't want to deal with that.
No, that's what I mean. Like it's a cool lifestyle, and people, you know, like see the things on their phones and make their own assumptions and stuff like that, right? My boyfriend's a model, my girlfriend's a model, all that shit, right? It's like, it's hard.
Yeah, it's like, oh, your boyfriend's a model, and then people start saying things to him like, or the girlfriend's a model, or they're just like, you know, oh yeah, but do you have a problem that they're half naked with this girl or this guy, or do you have a problem that, you know, seriously, like I've had to do shoots where like I'm half naked with girls and guys, like people start saying stuff to to someone you're dating,
right?
And people start getting weird, or people don't want to be in the light that you're in.
That's a great point.
You know, like if I ever did decide to date someone, you know, I think that when it becomes the process of like, do you want to be involved in this?
That's a great point, because there was a girl that I dated that she has like 2 million followers. You know, she was one of those Instagram models, like, and then she would get gigs with Bang and things like that, you know, here and there. She's an awesome girl, amazing. But like, we were seeing each other for a little while, and she came into town, you know, a couple times. And then like the second or third time we took our first photo together, I noticed that she was putting things on her story, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together. And then a week later, I had 4 or 5 people be like, yo, you're dating so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's dope. Like, I can't believe like you're okay with her posting her ass pictures and shit like that. And I'm like, hey, we haven't posted anything. And then I went and looked at her story, and there's 25 things of me, my house, LSU, all this stuff. And so people put 2 and 2 together. And I messaged her and was like, yo, look, I have no problem with it. I'm not one of those people that doesn't like the limelight, but just let me know you're doing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know people were hitting me up, and like, you know, we should have this conversation. So I feel like your guys' lives is a little bit different, where like you guys are under the microscope, you know?
Well, we are. And then this other thing, your life, like I keep my like
private life
with my private life. Yeah. Like no matter who no one's ever going to know if I'm dating someone or not dating someone. And that's not because I don't want people to know. It's just no one's business. I
agree.
You know, all the time people ask me on my lives and stuff, like what my sexuality is, and like honestly, it's like no one's business. Yeah. Not because I don't think people deserve to know. I just don't really care for them to like know. Like, I think,
and then put their own judgment, thoughts.
Yeah, like I don't
experiences.
You don't need to know what I'm doing with my life. You don't need to know who I am talking to, or who I'm not talking to, or who I'm spending my time with. Yep. Not because, again, I think it becomes like it almost like defines us as people nowadays, and I don't understand that. Like, dude, like who cares what I'm doing? Why do you need to know what I'm doing? Like,
I couldn't agree more. And I think too, like you have a lot of followers on social media too. People think that like because you have followers, they're like entitled to be like, who are you dating? Like, I want to know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, that's not your business. Just because we've glorified certain celebrities and put their news out there doesn't mean that I got to fall under that category, you know?
Well, I also just don't want people going to chase down people that I'm spending time with. Like, I don't want them to feel like they're getting attacked, or I don't want them feel like people are sliding into their DMs, like trying to, oh, like, how did y'all meet? What are y'all doing? Like, they don't need that. They don't need that type of pressure. No. And honestly, that would just be more to protect them than anything. Yep. So I've told people several times that, like, you know, if we ever dated, then I would not probably post you on my stuff. Not because I don't want to, but just because I don't want you to have to deal with the things. I mean, the DM requests I get are already insane. I don't want you to deal with this.
And then there's, like, I'm playing devil's advocate and being probably a little negative here, but there's just twisted people in the world, right? So they're going to start. I've seen this. It's happened a little bit on my end, but I'm not on the level of some of my other friends and people and stuff like that. But every time I've been in a relationship with somebody that has a big following, all that shit, and I've seen it from other people, there's fucked up people that just want to make shit up. They want to talk stuff. They want to get you to react, right? So maybe they'll say, hey, I saw Hunter doing this. Like, you should check on that, just to get the girl to be, or the guy, whatever, whoever it is, to answer back, to be like, what are you talking about? Like, and now they're involved in your life, and that's all they wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's sick.
Well, I think the other thing is too, man. Like, I mean, I've had people, I was in London for 3 months, and I had people saying I was fucking people back in Baton Rouge. I was like, I didn't know I could do that.
You're like, yeah, actually I time traveled last night. Yeah, you're right.
I honestly didn't know I could teleport.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know those things were possible.
Thank you. That's good. I'm glad I got that information.
Yeah, exactly. You know, people make up stuff just to make up shit. Yeah. That's the other thing, man. Like, now it's hard. Like, even, I'm not famous by any means, but it's now even harder for me to weed out people who just want to hang out with me because of me, or they want to hang out with me because of my job. Yep. Or things like that. Like, and also the amount of judgment I get in general nowadays. Like, I don't fit in. Like, I'm not gonna say I don't fit in Louisiana, but like, I don't wear the shit that people wear in Louisiana. Yeah. Like, I don't look like a frat boy.
Yeah. No, I get it.
You know,
every time people see me, and I'm not dressed crazy, but it's just like, you're not from here, are you? Like, that's like, I get that all the time.
If I go to New York, I fit in great.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if I'm walking around here and these shoes and these Carhartts and
this guy's got a couple screws loose or something.
Yeah, this jacket I'm wearing. Like, I mean, dude, I've dyed my hair blue and walked around LSU's campus. Dude, people don't do that here. No. You know, I think that throws people off. Apparently, my pictures, I look like a dick. I do.
That's your look. It's your job.
You know, yeah. But, you know, people just, I think, sometimes don't realize that, like, dude, it's crazy some of the things we go through. People judge me the moment I walk into a door. I'm always dressing to impress people. Like, it's really fucking annoying. Yeah. That's the most fucking annoying thing. Some days really just want to wake up and be like, yeah, fuck it. I don't have to worry about nothing.
Exactly.
But, like, I'm always having to, like, take pictures. Yeah. I'm always having to make sure that, like, I'm posting on my story, make sure people can see that insight, because that's how you keep yourself, like, up and growing. Relevant. Yeah. And honestly, I really don't, as I said, I really don't give a fuck about people thinking about me anymore. But at the same time, it does get exhausting.
And it's almost your job a little bit to care about what people think, right? Like, you need certain people to like your photos and share them and shit like that. So it's like that phrase is important. You don't care about the people that don't matter. You know what I'm saying? They're going to fucking say shit and just look at your shit. Well, but
the people that are going to follow me are going to like me. The people that aren't are not going to like me. I mean, you know, Cat Williams said something in one of his things. Love that man. It's funny, but he said something like, if you have 2 haters today, you need 4 by tomorrow. Love that. Like, I love that. Like, you should always growing, because if you're growing, and more and more people are hating on you, means you're doing something right.
Exactly.
So
that's interesting. I like that.
But it's also the amount of people that have hit me up after high school, dude.
Oh, dude, that's a good one too.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
That's a good one. So you're 24, so like, I remember having all that shit. Same thing when I was making it to the major leagues. It's like, this shit, that's got to be fun. Especially, like you said, you weren't like fitting in. You weren't boys, you know, like tight with anybody or anything.
Dude, the people that hit me up now, they're like, dude, I didn't know, dude, you're doing billboards, so bro. You're doing shit like, that's crazy.
We should go get get a drink.
Like, I mean, like, and honestly, like, I've let some of them, like, I've like hung out with some of them. Like, some people have been very genuine on, you know, and love that. That's really nice that some people were like caring and genuine, and you know, but it's, again, you just don't know who's trying to hang out with you because of that.
And intentions and all that.
But honestly, I mean, I think the hardest part about this job that people don't realize is trying to, you know, it's the people that stay with you, but also just, like I said, trying to find the people that actually, like, care about you.
Yeah. And for you. And, like, not because of what they think it can bring them or where they think you're going and that kind of stuff.
I often don't talk about my job with people because, like, I honestly will be like, people will be like, you know, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I take pictures.
Yeah. They're like, you really do.
Yeah, I'm like, I take pictures. And then I say I'm a model. And, like, honestly, I hate the fact that, like, I'll say I'm a model and people will be like, yeah, okay, so what do you really do?
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, No, that's seriously what I do.
Paid, yeah. I get,
look
at me, motherfuckers.
Well, dude, I think that's what's crazy too. Like you talk about like, you can say that like, look at me, but bro, like I don't like walk around and look at people. I hate compliments now. I hate a compliment. Dude, honestly, like I love it when my buddies like fucking with me. Like even like Alec and stuff. Like, or like people are just like, yo, you look fucking ugly. And I'm like, yo, thank you so much. I needed that. It brings me back down to earth.
Yeah,
like,
that's good.
But dude, the compliments thing,
funny.
like,
It's such a weird like thing that you probably go through.
But dude, all models hate them now.
Yeah,
because that's all you ever hear.
And probably with social media, it never stops.
Yeah,
like people are commenting, liking, engaging, all this shit, right? Like it probably gets fucking old.
But it's that, or like the people that are like, yo, I want to fuck you. And I'm like, okay, right. Like, or people that send me nudes like uncalled for.
Yeah,
I don't need your nudes. Please don't do that.
I love that. Oh, yeah,
but like, I've tried to tell people that, and I still get them. Like I don't. And like people are like, why don't you check your DM requests? Because I don't want to, because I don't know what you people are sending me.
Yeah, I'm all set.
I'm all set. Like I really don't need to like go through my DM requests to make sure that like the only time I go through there is to just see if brands have tried to hit me up. Yeah. Or see if business, you know, photographers, people that, you know, every once in a while if someone's nice in my DM request, I'll say something back, but I've done that once or twice too, and people have just generally like taken it too far. Like I'll be like, they'll be like, oh, you look great. I'm like, thank you. And then they immediately think that's like, I'm in. Like, oh, I can just say whatever I want to say now. That's not what I want. I don't need you to like be like, yo, let's go out to dinner. No, I'm okay.
I'm good. I got dinner at my place. I'm good tonight.
Well, and like, I think the other thing is too, like when I come home here, man, people always like, let's go do stuff. I'm like, yo, I was just doing stuff for the last like 2 or 3 months. I'm straight. Yeah, I'm good. I'm going to sit here with my dog. Yep. I'm going to play Call of Duty. Or I'm going to play Madden. And my dog's gonna be laying in my lap while I play games.
That's so great.
Like I will hide in my apartment for weeks.
100%.
But like,
just be away from people. People assume things, right? Or like, they're like, oh, you're home now. Let's go party. Let's go do this.
Well, I think it's the other thing, man. Like people just like think I think it's the other thing that people think here too, man. People think like since we're models, it's so easy for us, like you said, to get girls and to like, or like to get anyone, to get girls, guys, anything. Like people think it's so easy for us just to like, oh, I walk into a room and everyone wants to fuck me.
Yeah.
No, that's not how that works. Just because we look pretty doesn't mean that like that's how that works.
Right. I think that everybody makes their assumptions up too of the lifestyle. They see you on the phone, they see people, models on the phone, and they think it's this lifestyle and this way of living, right? But it's like there's so many things that go into it that don't make it what people think it is. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
like dude, just because you see us taking pictures, I'm gonna let you know, like that one picture you see I post on my Instagram, that was the 4,000th picture I took that day.
And how much work went into it. We talked about how like after this you're going to go to the gym, right? You're going to spend 2 hours in the gym. I don't even know. I'm just made that number up. It might be low, but that's literally your lifestyle. You have to watch what you eat. You have to take care of your body. You got to fucking sleep right. Like, because all of that goes into that picture, that final product that people see. That was the 4,000th picture, the 4,000th pose, the way, you know what I'm saying? The lighting was right, all of that.
I want people to go smile with your eyes without smiling. You tell me how to do that.
Smile with your eyes without smiling with your mouth.
Yes.
And that's literally what they tell you behind the camera sometimes?
Yeah, I've been told, okay, look serious but not too serious.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want you to smile with your eyes without smiling. All right, now make yourself look sad, but like not too sad, but sad. Like
I just did it in the camera.
There you go. You know, like I mean, like, you know, a lot of it, you know, those pictures you see that we get, you know, that's me practicing my angles. That's me practicing how to make my jaw look nice, how to win this light. And like, it's not, you don't get to practice in one lighting. You need to practice in all lighting.
Yeah.
Like that's what's nuts. I mean, the photographer and us, we have to also like have a good relationship for it to work well.
Yeah.
So I might meet a photographer one day. I don't know who he is. He doesn't know who I am.
Right.
You know, we have to talk to each other. We have to build a connection, understand each other.
Energy is real, right? Like people can feel the finer energy in like in a photo, and I think at least in like a good photo and that kind of stuff, like in a photo shoot. So
if you two are having fun with each other, then it makes the photos that much better.
100%. Yeah.
But like, I think people think we just sit in front of a camera for 2 seconds, we take a picture, and then that was the photo they got.
Alec and I were talking about that right before you walked in. We were like sitting here bullshitting, and I was like, "This is what I want to ask him. Like, if you go into a shoot and I see a fucking Armani Exchange final product, you know, like whatever." Like what goes into that? You didn't just walk in the building, take your shirt off and fucking take a photo. Peace. See you guys, right? Like, but that's what people think.
For that one photo that you see on the advertisement board, that was 3 days of work.
Yeah.
That was 3 days of work. That was me showing up, waking up at 6:30 in the morning, get there at 7:30 in the morning, stay there from 7:30 in the morning until about 6 o'clock at night to literally get that one shot you see on a billboard or you see in the store. That's the one shot they took from that.
That's insane.
And that's 3 days of full face of makeup, full clothes, taking clothes off, getting retouched up, getting your hair touched up, getting like your face picked at. Like that's a constant thing you deal with. I mean, for me to be in the Gap thing, I mean, I love Gap. I love Macy's. I love everyone I've worked with. They're great people. They are the nicest, funniest, kind people.
Yeah.
But the shoots you're taking, I mean, you're taking a bunch of photos to maybe see one or two.
One, yeah.
I mean, that's nuts.
That's insanity to me. I mean, like just an outsider looking in, and I've been on shoots, I've been in magazines for sports and shit like that, and I'm like, you know, we've been here for 45 fucking minutes. Like, what do you guys need more? You know what I'm saying? Like, right? Like, yeah. So I can't imagine what it would be like doing it for 3 days.
Oh, imagine showing up. Like I showed up the second day for our money exchange, and not that it's a big deal. It happens all the time. It happens in the modeling world, but you like show up, and I got a full face of makeup and sat there for 6 hours before I did anything. Like before I did a single thing.
What's the reason? Like the scheduling, the sets.
They were just working with the other models. I mean, there were 6 or 7 of us there, so they were just getting their stuff shot because I shot so much the day before. So I sat there like, what do you do for 6 or 7 hours? Because I tell you what, my phone is not going to entertain me for 6 or 7 hours.
Does modeling and photos and things like that work similar to acting? So there was this girl that I dated that was in the acting world, and she would just had an agency that would put her name out there. She would go do a tryout, I forget the word, whatever.
Casting.
Like, yeah, casting, yes. Go do one of those, right? And then she would get a call back. Then she would go do the shoot or whatever. But 3 other people got the call back, and they filmed them too. And then like the day of whenever the one they pick is the one they pick. It could be her, it could be other ones.
You go through rounds, yeah. So what they do is you have a casting, then they pick the people they like from that that casting. Then those go to like the casting directors. The casting directors look at those, and then you go from being like on options to be maybe on a short list, then from short list, then you get the job.
That's crazy level of competition.
You'll be on option, you'll be on hold for an option, and then you might make it to the short list, and you can make it to the short list and still get dropped.
Yeah,
like you could like
fucking crazy.
I did a casting for Puma for Fashion Week. Went to the fitting, like they fitted me for the clothes to walk in Puma, and got dropped the day before the show.
Oh my god.
Because the designer apparently maybe just didn't want that fit anymore. Or maybe someone famous showed up.
Yeah.
And like, that's the other thing. You can get dropped because another bigger model comes in.
That sucks. Do you still get paid for that though, at least for your time being there?
Nope.
No.
Dude, there are models that'll get taken. Like there have been models that have been gone to. I have a buddy that like told me that he went to a runway show, sat there all day, got his makeup done, got put in the outfit, was 4 spots from going to like walking, and got pulled. And he doesn't get paid for that.
That's fucking horseshit.
Like doesn't get paid.
Horseshit.
Like, I mean, like he told me he never got paid. I don't know if that's like true or not, but like that happened. He got pulled right before he walked.
That's do you guys get paid at least more? Say they pick your photo for the ad or whatever, right? And the ad runs for 6 months in a couple magazines. Do you get paid for that 6 months? Like, or is it just straight up like, hey, we used your photo, here's your payment, like that's it?
So like if like Macy's used me, I worked for Macy's, and the Macy's was like, hey, we're gonna put you in front of our store. Here's an extra $1,500, then we're gonna use you for 2 months.
Gotcha.
I mean,
and that's just like an add-on to the shoot. Yeah. Okay, cool.
But sometimes it's not like that. You know, sometimes you'll be like, well, here's your $4,000, and we're gonna might or might not use your stuff for advertising, but we're not gonna pay you for it.
Right.
I mean, but honestly, that's what your agents do.
They do in the background.
Yeah.
They're negotiating all that stuff.
And I have nothing but love for every single one of my agents because I know they work hard.
Yeah.
They work hard. They get me to where I get to, and I'm forever grateful for the things that they do because they work just as hard as we do to get us those jobs.
Yeah.
But man, like
that's wild.
This is wild stuff.
Yeah. No, and I think this is the kind of stuff that I've really enjoyed this conversation because I think even me too, like you just see things on the phone and you're like, oh, that's interesting. But like hearing you talk about going to New York and couch hopping and going to London and being not miserable, but you know what I'm saying? Like grinding a little bit. That's tough.
Yeah. I don't think I was miserable in London. I just think it was like, you're just lonely.
Yes. That's the word.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you make friends, which doesn't mean you're not lonely.
100%.
But like, this is like, it is a very lonely lifestyle. I mean, I've given up things that I've never wanted to give up in my life. Yep. Like I don't get to see my family as much anymore.
Yeah.
I'm missing birthdays. Yeah. I'm missing my cousin is having a baby and now I'm the godfather of my goddaughter, but I missed that gender reveal.
Yeah.
I miss things that I shouldn't be missing. I missed my family Christmas this last weekend because I had a job in Miami. You know, you don't understand, like you say people were like, oh, I want to be a model. You be prepared to like give up the things that you don't necessarily want to give up in life. You don't realize how much you give up until you start till something happens and you're like, well, I want to be there for that, and you can't be because you have to be at a job. And again, there's two sides of that coin. You're getting a job, you're getting paid, you're being able to do building connections, you're working with cool people, love that, but you're missing out on the time sometimes with people that you love or things that you don't necessarily want to miss. And you've got to be okay with either or. You're either going to miss the job or you're going to miss your family stuff. And like, my family doesn't take a back seat in anything. It's just my family understands now. Like,
this is your present moment and opportunity that
this is my job. This is the things I'm going to do. And this is the way it's going to be for right now.
It might not always be like this, but I think that's the big thing with me with baseball is like, I had a lot of support with my family. They were always like, you know what, do what you got to do. Like, this is a unique opportunity that no one in our family's ever had. Go for it.
Well, that's my family does the same thing. My family's like, no, we get it. You have a job. Like, go do it. And I'm like, yeah, but still.
I would still love to be here.
Still love to be here,
I think nieces and nephews' birthdays were the biggest things for me that I fucking hated. I was like, I want to be there for that. I just want to, like little things. But now it's like normal that I'm not there for things. I hate that too.
Well, it's like crazy because me and my biological father don't talk anymore. But I still have a half brother and half sister that live in Iowa. I haven't been able to make it up there in over a year because I don't know if like I go up there and then I get a phone call for a job. Like, how the fuck do you leave Iowa quickly?
Yeah.
How do you get out of Iowa? They don't have a massive airport to leave.
You're definitely taking connections.
Yeah. So, and I'm not going to pay $1,000 to do that, like, because that comes out of my pocket. Sometimes. So I think that's like the other big thing. You have to like find time for things, but find it in a way that's going to make sense.
Yeah.
And like I think the mental health aspect of it, like I think that needs to be like talked about too, because when I say lonely, like we're lonely.
Yeah.
You're lonely. Like it's the loneliest lifestyle because you're not. Yeah, I'm couch hopping and I get to meet people and I get to like hang out with friends. But there's nothing more stressful than like the day before you're trying to find a new couch or like hitting up people. I'm putting stuff on Instagram. Anyone have a couch I can sleep on?
Yeah.
Like that's nuts.
But I think also too, right, in a sense of in a world where engagement, likes, shares, all that shit is almost like a currency, right? Like you guys have a following, and I think a lot of people equate that to money and different things. So like sometimes like it probably is a little bit of a mind fuck, like for you guys, like the way I equate it is minor leagues, right? People back home and you're kind of in your minor league journey. You're in your first, second year, third year of modeling. It's still relatively new. Is like people see this on the phone like, oh, he was a professional baseball player. I made 10 grand for the first 3 years of baseball. Now, granted, I got lucky and I signed a big signing bonus. So I was sitting on money and I didn't have to borrow money from things. But almost all of my boys were playing minor league ball and they were fucking borrowing money from their parents. They're working extra jobs in the off season. They're hustling to make a little extra money to pay for their living where they're living, So it's like these people on their phones see this great lifestyle and think you're making all these millions and you have all these fans and all this shit, right, or whatever. But it's like, that's not the reality. So that in itself is a little bit of a mental health thing, because it's like that imposter syndrome a little bit, and it's not really the imposter syndrome because you're doing something great and you're building something and you're there, but it's like, it's got to be a little bit tough on the person at the time.
Oh, I mean, like, dude, like I've got bills to pay. And like, honestly, like, I make good money for my jobs, but like, I'm not making this is the only industry where women steadily outpace men.
Yeah.
The women in this industry, the big women in this industry, like, Gigi and Bella and Kendall and all them. Dude, they're making 3-4 times as much as the men are.
Yeah.
I think the top male model in the world got paid $2 million last year. I think the top female got paid 30.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That's a big gap.
It's a big gap.
That's really interesting.
I think, to make the money I've made is great, but you also have to realize, like, I don't think people realize. I think people think I do a job and get paid immediately.
No,
I get paid in 3 months.
Yeah, that's crazy too.
I have to wait 90 days to sometimes see a check.
That's tough.
So
getting paid out in net terms and stuff like that, that's really tough too. Like we deal a little bit of that on the business side here, but like that's when you're an individual and you're like, hey, I got to eat tonight.
Yeah,
I got to pay my rent.
I need to live. Yeah. My dog needs to live.
My dog needs to eat tonight, guys.
And like, you can ask your agencies for advances, but like, I'm not going to also go up to my agency and be like, hey, I don't know, y'all owe me $20K. Can you just advance me $20K real quick?
Right.
Like that's
probably not a good look.
It's not a good look, but I'm also not going to ask them for $2,000 because like, you're going to get the money in eventually. Like I know, but like, it's more of like, I'm replacing the money.
Yeah.
So like, I might like I have my modeling account and I've got like a billing account.
Yeah.
My billing account finally went into $4,000 for the first time the other day, and I about shed a tear because never in my life it's been always above because it's my bill. So like I don't put a lot of money in there. I just put enough to do my bills.
Right. To pay. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, bro, that was so hard. That was such a painful thing.
I imagine.
I like did that. I paid my rent, watched it go into the $4,000 mark, and I was like,
dude, sometimes like when I've been in, again, I lived a lifestyle that was different, but there was times I would run up 15, 20 grand on my credit card and I would just be like literally transferring money just to erase that debt. Like, like, you know what I'm saying? You're just like, oh my God, like it's crazy, but I don't know. I guess that's part of life when you grow up, but it's like it's never a good feeling.
Oh dude, it's never a good feeling. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure I've got decent money for a 24-year-old, but like I also would like to have more.
I think that's the human experience for everybody. It's like,
you know, I think we all would like to have more money. But I think people just think I'm like steadily in my bag, and yeah, like I'm making money.
Yeah, but you still got all the same shit that deal with that everybody else does.
It's not like I'm living in like a penthouse. Yeah, and like, also like I don't ask money from other people. Like, I don't ask money from my parents. I don't ask them for help. Like my parents pay for 2 things right now because they get a discount. That's why. They get car insurance and my cell phone bill. Thank you, parents. Yes. Please don't stop doing that. Not ready for that. No, but like honestly, like that's crazy to me. Like, I'm still paying for my own school. Oh, yeah. I still take my own loans out for school. I'm still doing school while doing all this.
I love that. Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like it's still like
good for you, bro.
Still a lot. Good. I finally get back. Like I took a semester off, so I finally go back this like next semester. So
where you go? LSU?
Yeah, I got LSU.
Nice.
But like that sucks too. Like, I'm having to balance that too.
Yes,
like
I'd imagine.
No, but you're like all that, the money and things, and dude, like I want to be a big model where I get paid $150,000 and I can demand to see that in a week.
Yep.
I would love that.
That's coming. That's what like you're putting in the work now, and that's what I always think too, right? We talk about the mental health side of things and the loneliness, but like all of that stuff contributes to the end goal of like what you want, right? And you're going to be able to take care of your family and do different things and do things differently than probably other people can because of that, because of the sacrifices.
I think the goal is like to be able to take my parents on vacation.
Exactly.
Like they did so much for me in my life. It's like I want to be able to like look at them and be like, yo, like let's go on vacation, but like on me. Yep. Not on you. You don't have to pay for anything. Let me buy you dinner. Let me buy you like a trip here.
That's a fun time. I was fortunate enough to do little things like that. I did some things for my parents. I actually, one Christmas, I bought both of them a car when I signed my signing bonus in Korea. And it was like, brought my mom to the dealership, like with the bow on it, got my dad the Corvette that we talked about since we were fucking chilled, like kids, all that shit. It's a good feeling. And like, those are the moments that it's like, all right, this is why I've been fucking away for a long time. Like this is all of it right here. So like, that's why I'm like, yo, that day's coming because you're doing the right things now. You have the right mindset now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's hard, but there's good shit coming.
Well, like me and my brother finally got to be able to get my mom like a birthday present the other day. In September, we bought her a Cartier bracelet, and like we bought it together. Like I've never been able in my life to walk in a Cartier. I walked in Cartier with sweatpants and a sweatshirt on,
and they were probably like, "Sir,"
they were like, "Sir, you don't belong here." And I was like, "No,
just looking."
They were like, "We have 15 minutes." I literally like, we have 15 minutes left till the store closes, sir. We would.
That's my favorite when you walk into like Gucci or Louis and they're like, "Sir, like like there's certain." I'm like, relax, like.
I'm here to buy something.
Yeah, I'm here to actually buy something. I know you're going to profile me right now, but that's funny.
Some dude walked up to me and was like, "So what do you need?" And I'm like, "I need to buy this bracelet." And he was like, "Oh." He was like, you could tell he was just like taken back.
100%.
And he like brought me up there. I literally pulled out my credit card, like literally handed it to him. And the dude was like, okay. It went through and he was like, okay. I was like, yeah, I'll take that. Walked out and you could tell everyone else was like,
the fuck? Yeah.
The hell? Because I didn't look like any kid that should be walking into a Cartier and being like, yo, give me something.
Exactly. That's my favorite thing, to watch them profile people and stuff.
But I think, that's the other thing, like being able to do like even that little thing for my mother was like, to see the smile on her face was like 10 times better than like anything. I you can't, like when you die, you can't take the money with you. Yeah. So why not use it for the things that you want to be able to like put a smile on someone's face. Yep. She wears it all the time now, so it reminds her of me and my brother and me. Like that reminds her of us. Like that's important. Like those things are important. But I think modeling is probably one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had because you're a model and you're pretty. There are other pretty motherfuckers out there, and there's a lot of other motherfuckers you're having to go up against. So it's not just like you're just like, oh, you're pretty, so you're just gonna get this job, or like I'll be like, oh, I'm a model, and like the number one thing I get is when I'm like, I'm a model and people are like, oh, that makes sense. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, what the fuck? And then I think
it's a backwards compliment.
Yeah, it's like a backhanded compliment. Yeah. When I used to tell people I was a stripper, they're like, oh, I could see it.
You're like, what is that?
I'm like, what kind of fucking
what am I giving off?
Yeah, what kind of fucking statement is that? Like, oh, I could see it. Oh, okay, thanks.
You've been picturing me stripping, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
okay.
Like, you know, I think that's like one of the most backhanded compliments I always get. At the same time, like, I guess it's just because like, oh, people are like, oh, you're attractive, but like, okay, that doesn't mean like I'm a model. Like, as soon as I say like I'm a model, people are like, oh, like, you know, that makes sense. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I think people also think that like, I'm just like the happiest person all the time. That's not the case. Like, you literally, like, I have an emotional support dog, not because I need it for my modeling stuff. I just had a lot of shitty things happen in my life. Like you said, the sleep thing goes into it. I don't sleep well at all. I have really bad insomnia. So she's like there for me to sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm gone from her from 2 months, 3 months on end. Dude, my sleep schedule gets so fucked. Yeah. Like, because the things I've been through, the things I've seen, the things that like I shouldn't have had to see, like, I'm definitely the kid that like gets numb when bad shit happens. Because I don't know if I'm just the one that's like, okay, one of like out of me and my brother, or like me and my family, like, I need to be like the one that's like, everything's okay.
Right.
Like, that doesn't mean you don't deal with like things like on your own, or like the fact that I'm alone all the time. Like, bro, like, I can call people. I literally stay on the phone most days with my friends. Like, I just call my friends.
Yeah.
Someone doesn't pick up, I'm calling someone else. Because like, I want to stay on the phone with someone because I don't want to be like that alone in a city. I'd rather talk to someone on the phone while I'm shopping or while I'm doing stuff.
Right.
And also, like, I have model friends, but they're busy.
Right. We're all doing stuff too.
We're all doing shit. Yeah. Like, so I can't always hang out with them either. So you just have to learn to like be okay with yourself. Be okay with the fact that you're going to be alone.
Yeah. And
then also be okay with that you're not always going to have someone to talk to. But like at night, man, when I'm alone and like I have no one to talk to and Netflix isn't doing it for me anymore, like, dude, you get stuck in your thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
And like when you get stuck in your thoughts, your head goes to wild places.
I've been there.
And bro, like when I come home, man, like I am not just like physically drained. I am mentally drained. Like you just like, I got in last night. Like, it's great. I loved it. I got to go see my grandparents for a hot minute. But like you come home and you don't realize the amount of like toll everything's taken on you.
Yeah.
Until like you literally are like in that moment.
Yeah.
And you like, I mean, I've called my friends just being like, yo, I am not okay today.
That's good that you have a support system like that you can go to and talk to.
But not everyone has that.
No, I know.
And like that's what's like people like say like, oh, I really want to be a model. Be prepared. If you really gonna try to go after that lifestyle, like it's a lifestyle. Like it's like being a celebrity. There's people that deal with depression and stuff.
Yeah.
It's real because you are so busy, or that life is so random. Like it's so crazy that like you don't realize everything that goes into it until it's happening.
Yeah. And there's so many highs and so many lows too, right? You talk about like you get flown out to London, you just signed with an agency. That's a lot of dopamine. Like you got paid for a gig probably, right? So you got all these things, but then it's like you walk in a building, they're like, yo, you need to lose some weight in your legs. You need to change your fashion up. You're not getting a gig for the next 6 weeks. And it's like, whoa, that's a fucking dip in the dopamine, right? So it's like the highs are great. The lows are low. It's like,
well, you'll be working for 3 months straight. You'll be kicking butt. You'll be like, oh, wow, I'm making this money. I'm kicking butt. And then you won't work again for another 3 months.
Exactly.
And you have to learn to be okay with that.
Yep.
And like, that's like wild. I think that's like the most wild thing that people don't realize. Like people are like, oh, you're working all the time, or like you're making all this money. Like, yeah, I made money for 3 months, but now I'm not working for 2 weeks,
right?
Or now I'm working for 3 weeks.
No, I don't have money. Yeah.
Now I have to be okay with it. I'm not going to be working for a little hot minute. And
I might not get paid from like the last 3 months for another month or two. So it's like now I got to without work, I got to fucking just not have money yet.
Yeah, and then like my agency has agency asked me to stop stripping. So like, of course I listened. I'm not doing it anymore. So now I don't have another like. I can't go hustle. Yeah, exactly. I can't go hustle anyone anymore. I can't go like.
What's the reason they don't want you stripping?
Just image wise.
Gotcha.
I mean, honestly, but I get it. Like, I mean, you know, I did it for a long time. You kind of eventually do need to pick between, because if you start trying to work for bigger brands, I mean, you know, like Channing Tatum stripped. Dude, Channing Tatum was one of the biggest models in the world. Now he's like a famous actor and superstar and all these things, like, which is cool, you know.
Yeah.
But he had to stop. He had to stop doing the same thing. Like when he became a model. He stripped for a while he was still doing it, but then he had to give it up because you need to pick. You have to pick whether you want to be a model or you want to be a stripper.
Yep.
And, you know, obviously I want to be a model. It's going to make me more money.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of picking between the two. So you can't really do that anymore. You have to find new ways to hustle. I can't get a regular job either.
Right,
Can't,
because,
you know, if you become a bigger model, you can't just get a regular job to like supplement, because I could have a job, but I could be scheduled for the next 2 weeks and,
right. And
oh, never mind. I got to leave for 2 weeks. Hope you can find someone to pick up my shift.
Exactly.
Like, I'll get fired.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, so like, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't work in the corporate world. Yeah.
Be like, oh, sorry, I can't show up today. Hope you don't mind. I have a flight that I have to go catch.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I think that's also a lot of things. People just need to realize like there's so many ups, there's so many downs, and you have to be mentally tough to be able to deal with both.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, and like why I appreciate you coming in and telling the story and everything, because like I said, it's really, really easy for people to look at the phone and make assumptions or think that this world and this thing is so glamorous and so exciting and it would be the best lifestyle and things like that, right? But not to be negative, because there's great things about that lifestyle definitely. And everything, but I think it was really important to shed the reality of that lifestyle too, because like I said, it's easy for people to make up these fantasies in their head, but that's not the fantasy that you live every day at all. You know,
I don't want people to think like I don't love my life.
Right.
I love my life. I love the blessings and opportunities that I've gotten with my agencies and the things that they provided me. I will always only have great things to say about them and the work that they've provided and the people I work with.
Yeah.
You run into all sorts of people in this world, you know. I mean, like I said, I've had friends told things that are just outrageous, and I had a friend get told that she was trying to walk for a runway, and a designer told her she needed to go do some cocaine so she could lose some weight.
Oh my God!
Like, it's, you know, they say things, but like like I said, like, I have been told very minor things compared to some of my friends have been told.
Right.
You know, but at the same time, I feel very blessed to have the opportunities I have. I feel very honored. I think it's a great life. But I think there's a lot of things that people don't realize that go into it.
Yeah.
I want people to realize that the things you see in the social media world, it's not always what's painted in the background, and the things that go into it are not always what it seems.
Right.
It is not you just stepping in front of a camera and looking pretty. It is so much more. There is so much more that goes into it, that is hours and hours of shooting to get one good picture, to get the picture that they're going to choose. Like, when I tell you, like, you'll take the 3,000 pictures, they'll select it down to 20 pictures, and then those 20 pictures get selected down to 2 pictures, and those are the 2 pictures they use. That's your work for the day.
Right.
And those 2 pictures are what you get to see.
Right.
That's insane.
It is insane.
So yeah, but I think, you know, just be happy with what I get to do and try to influence and spread some kindness into the world as I get to do it. Yeah. I'm a very big person about spreading love and kindness to people, just because it's important.
I agree, especially when you have that. And that's why I think, you know, when Joe kind of suggested you coming on the podcast, I thought it was a great opportunity. Every time you've come in the door, I didn't know you, you know, from the beginning, but then once they kind of told me what you did and stuff, I'm just appreciated your behavior and stuff like that, because as a young kid that has a following, and I don't know what you want to call it, clout, like, you know, like whatever people call it nowadays. But I think it's easier for people like yourself with that kind of stuff to be assholes, to be dicks, to not spread love and kindness, right? To kind of like be a little bit braggadocious and boast and shit. But I never got that vibe from you. So you've always come into the shop and shown love and stuff like that. So I appreciate the time and kind of like letting people inside your mind a little bit and inside your world and stuff, because I'm sure not everybody knew that, you know, that's followed you throughout your journey. So thank you.
Of course. Anytime. And if anything I have to say is just, you know, put some kindness in the world, everyone, and it'll be given back to you. Go tell someone they look pretty, not because you have to, but because you want to. I try to do that every day. Try to be nice to people. Look, someone drops something on the ground, easiest thing you can do is pick it up for them. You could save someone's life. You could be helping that one person get out of a bad state. I mean, you don't know what people are going through. So I don't think it's necessarily the coolest thing to be an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously don't let anyone disrespect you, but like, be kind when you can be kind. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's so easy to be a dick or an ass, but it's harder to be kind. And I try to be kind for the most part. And I try to preach that to the people that are in my lives. And even no matter the things they say to me, I still try to preach those things and try to be as best as I can be as a good person. But I'm not perfect. Nowhere near that. I have bad days and good days, like I've said. And I hope that, you know, I can let people in on a little bit of this light in life, and hopefully it'll be a interesting it'll be an interesting situation when people, like, I want people to understand if you're gonna get into this world, like, be ready for the things that come with it.
Absolutely. And like I said, man, I think like just getting on top of that is like people might forget who you are or your name, little things, but they don't forget how you make them feel, you know? And I think somebody that's good looking in your world that other people appreciate, that think are good looking. But I thought about this when you were saying just picking something up off the ground, like, or a little compliment or a smile or little things like that go a long way from somebody that's good looking and has a following and, you know, has good fashion sense, all that shit. So I appreciate that from you. And I think it does good things in the world for sure. So appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. I think also just because you're pretty and just because you have a following doesn't give you the right to be a dick.
Some people think that, though. That's the thing that's crazy, right? Like, it's like the entitlement thing. It's like, oh, look, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I don't want to harp on that and the negativity. It's been a great episode and everything. So thank you, dude. And we'll have to have you on again after, you've climbed up in the world a couple more years and stuff like that. And you feel good about where you're at, better about where you're at and stuff. It'll be fun to like kind of recap the journey and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
heck yeah.
Thanks again for coming in, dude.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Sick.